which would be an awesome caching tool. But just seeing people's ingenuity come out in situations like that shows you really what this stuff is all about, because one group of people will go up and say, hey, we don't want to leave the ground, let's figure out a way to get it down and put it back. The gung-hos want to climb it. It's just, there's so much freedom with this game. You can go about anywhere with it and do just about anything. One of my favorite ways to hide, and I get yelled at for this a lot, I like climbing trees, and that's a good way to bump up difficulty. You'd be surprised how many people are willing to hike out in the woods and climb up a big tree just for a smiley, but it opens up a whole nother world. Now you've got all these different options to do because you don't have the ground under you. That goes along with rock climbing, stuff like that. The last thing I want to talk about is approach. A lot of places that you can get permission to cache in are state or other government funded, owned, regulated properties, parks, cemeteries, forests. A lot of these places are put in place to regulate how we use and abuse Mother Nature. One of the things you want to try to concentrate on when you're looking for an area, when you're looking for a hiding place, or when you're out hunting, is if there are trails, try to stay on them. Try to leave the place how you found it, or better. We practice CEDO, which is cash in, trash out. If we go into a place and there's trash on the ground, we take it with us. Just because somebody else didn't care doesn't mean that we can't. It helps everybody. There's a big problem with litter. A lot of us ignore it, and none of us should. So in your caching in these areas or other areas, you want to try to be careful not to create a trail or create situations which could cause erosion or loss of plants or anything to take away from the natural setting. A lot of this stuff we can do in these places because they have these rules in place, and so far most people have abided by them. I guess that's the most important thing, is take care of where you're at, and keep it nice so we can keep doing this everywhere. And other than that, you guys gotta do some caching. Anybody have any questions?
So you said like you have to stay on the path if you're in, the government parks and stuff. So does that mean the cache will be like right around where the path is? You won't like go off into the woods anywhere?
Well, no. For example, Wayne National Forest. Wayne National Forest has a rule that says you can place geocaches there, that they want you to use any of the existing trail systems, and that they will monitor your cache, and you can place off of trail, but if a trail develops to your cache spot, they'll yank it. Basically, if you could get it set up to where people would come in from different directions, or people wouldn't pick the same trail to walk in all the time, it's fine. It's just hard to do that. Especially if you're going off of an existing trail system, because if they take a trail all the way to this point, most cachers are gonna leave the trail in the same place, unless it's a loop. Just because if you don't have parking coordinates to start off, you've usually got a trailhead or a place that they want you to enter the trail system, and once you get close, most cachers will take the same route, or at least what I've seen. You've got a GPS in your hand, you're gonna take the easiest route there, usually, every time, and that ends up usually creating a trail. There are certain areas that it doesn't matter. A lot of public hunting areas, doesn't matter, you can free roam. Places like that are better to stick with, but yeah, a lot of ours that are near established trail systems, we try to keep them within 50 feet of the trail, just to make it easier. I make things hard enough on everybody as it is. I figure the walk there could be fairly reasonable. Yeah, somebody over here had a question.
Yeah, how did you first get involved with geocaching?
Funny story. My brother is a cop in Lancaster. He called me one night and said, I had to go on a call today, and it was for suspicious activity near a bridge. He said when we got there, these people said they were doing something called geocaching, and it sounded like something that you would be interested in. He knew I did a lot of hiking and running around. So I went and looked it up on the internet, and 18 hours later bought a GPS and started caching. And I've been doing it ever since.
How long ago was that?
4 years. It's,
Yeah, like as an official hobby, it's been around what,
2000.
9 years. So,
Geo Woodstock 8 will be its 10th anniversary.
so these guys are
and it's not something
veterans.
you're never limited. I go geocaching every time we go on a road trip, every time we go on vacation. We drove to Myrtle Beach, we cached all the way down there, all the way back.
Every rest stop.
You don't have to worry about
You
bathroom
guys
breaks
think
if
of
you're
that at
stopping
rest
every
stops,
15
do it
minutes to
every
pick
rest
up a geocache.
Do you always have to
We
look
cached
for
our way to Colorado. We cached a full day while we were there and all the way back. When you're planning trips like that, this is something that the cachers have already thought of. Almost every rest stop that I've ever been to has a geocache. Almost every park and ride that I've ever been to has a geocache. You can pretty much say you're going to Michigan to watch OSU beat up on the Wolverines. You can plan your trip to say, I want all the caches within a quarter mile of the highway that I'm taking to get to my destination. Pop it in your GPS, take off. You can stop for a couple minutes all the way up there and add some numbers to your score. They're everywhere. I'd imagine, well, everybody in this room probably passes, what, 5 or 10 a day here on campus? Don't even know. They're everywhere.
Yep.
Josh, I'd like that. When you think of all these caches that you put out, how do you come up